Today we're going to format this text in Microsoft Word by manipulating the font properties to alter the font face or font type, the weight of the text, the color, and the size. Usually when we say weight of text, we mean boldness, right? Or whether we want to not bold it, or however you understand it. Now, as you could remember, if you're following me here on the channel, I previously worked on this document. I showed you guys how to save a document in Microsoft Word, and now we're going to edit this very simple document. Now this is a grant, right, that I have here, and as you can see, it's very plain. Now we're going to start with the heading. It says Amber Grants for Women. We're going to increase the font size, so we're going to head up to our ribbon menu. This is called our ribbon menu, and we'll ensure that our tab is on home, right, and we'll come down to the font size, right, and we'll change the font size to 28. Now we'll also change the font face or font type, and that's just telling you, okay, this is the type of writing that the words will be in. So we're going to come back up to our ribbon menu. Where home is, we'll ensure that we're on the home tab, and we'll come over to the font section. Now we'll click the down arrow beside the font and we'll look for a font. Now I don't want something too fancy, and my favorite font to use is Century Gothic. You'll see me using a lot of Century Gothic. Now I forgot to mention that to edit a font, we have to ensure that, or not only a font, to edit text, we also have to ensure that it is selected. I should have said that to you first. Now when something is selected, it's when we have this selection over the word here, and we could click, hold, and drag to the right. And as you click, hold, and drag to the right, you see that the font properties came up here. You could do a host of stuff just as how we would have done it up here in our ribbons menu. So now that we've changed our font size and font face or font type, we could deselect that by clicking anywhere, and that selection will come off. Now as you could see, women here, it's in common letters. Now we could do this manually, or we could use an option up here to do that. But because we're just starting out on editing our document in Microsoft Word, I just want to keep it simple. So let us change this W here into a capital W. So our cursor is at the, I would say, the back of the W. And usually if the cursor is at the back of a letter, you click backspace and it comes off. Now on our keyboard, we'll click Control, not Control, we'll click Shift, we'll hold down Shift, right, and press W on our keyboard so that we get capital W. So now you could already see that our document is already looking pretty different, right? Now we would want to change the color. Maybe, maybe not. We don't have to, but for the sake of this tutorial, we will. Now, as I selected, I clicked, I held, and I dragged to the right on my keyboard, and I let go. We see the selection come up and our font properties come up, or our text properties. So then we could come across here, and we could choose a font color. So we'll click the down arrow beside the letter A, and we'll choose maybe this, what would you call that type of orange, like a burnt orange kind of color, like that's a popular color now, and we'll deselect. Now it says tell us about your business or business idea, and then there are some questions beneath that. Let us select to the beginning of the word tell, click hold, and we'll drop down from line to line to line until we have all our lines covered, and we'll let go. Every time we let go after making a selection, the text properties box comes up, and we'll use that to make some changes. So let's bold that. Right, as you could see, our letters are brighter, and we could change the font size to maybe 18. We'll deselect that. I see where the last question and the first paragraph, they look as though they're too close together. So we'll ensure that our cursor is at the end of the last paragraph, and then we'll press enter on our keyboard, which gives it some space between the paragraph and the last question that was posed. The rest of our document and lettering is pretty thin, or I would say small. Now I have a neat trick in showing you the easy way to select paragraphs. I'll link a video for that in the description, in the card section, or at the end of the video, so you could check that video out. And in doing that, we'll click in the first paragraph, we will ensure that the mouse pointer is in the first paragraph. We will tap 3 times really fast and it will select the entire paragraph. So we'll tap 3 times on our mouse pad. If you're using a laptop, I'm using a laptop. If you're using a regular mouse, you will use the left click button on the mouse and you're going to click 3 times really quick. 1, 2, 3, selected, right? Now, you would be wondering, how will you select the other paragraphs? And we'll just hold down Control on our keyboard. We'll put the mouse pointer over the next paragraph. We won't click it as yet. We'll just ensure it's over the next paragraph. And we're going to click 3 times really quick. 1, 2, 3. The next paragraph was selected. And we'll just do that for all the other paragraphs real quick. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, why I didn't select everything is because this section here that says, tell us what you would do if awarded the money, I don't want that to have the same formatting as the paragraphs. So that's why I did that, right? Now, we're going to make that in about a size of 16. So we're going to come up here to our home tab on our ribbon menu, and we're going to come down to the font size, click the down arrow, and we'll select 16. Now don't deselect just yet, right? Because as you could see, our paragraphs don't look too neat on the right hand side here in the corners. It looks jagged. You'd say jagged edge if you're into 80s and 90s R&B music and love songs and so forth. You know what I'm talking about. So now we're going to come up here where you see home. We're going to come across here, and this little icon here represents the justified setting, and all that does is fills out all the lines neatly and spaces so that we won't have this jagged edge thing happening here. So let's select that, and as you could see, our lines at the end here are pretty neat. It's beautiful. All right, our document is really looking up. Now we're going to deselect that. At the bottom here where it says tell us what you would do if awarded the money, we want it to look like the same thing on this heading and for these questions. So remember, the size that we had chosen was 18, and we're going to bold it. So let's scroll down to the bottom there. We're going to click, hold, and drag, or we could deselect that, right, and click it 3 times. Yes, so 1, 2, 3 times, right, and we'll select the entire line. We'll come back up to our font size. We'll select 18, and then we'll select bold. And that's it. This is very basic, and you could always change the color. I don't know why I chose burnt orange. I'll probably go with like maybe blue. Blue always looks professional, right? So let's choose blue. That looks a bit better to me than the burnt orange. I don't know, what do you think? And our document looks much more neat, way more organized, and way more presentable. Remember to subscribe to the channel hit the notification bell so that you won't miss a beat on every time I upload a new video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye now.